everyone, Nangendef. Welcome home to Senegal. I'm your personal relocation coach, Danielle, but most people know me here by my married name, Madame Seck. I use my 12 years of experience here to give you the real deal, no nonsense, and in-depth look at life here in this West African country. So let's get started. New Dep. So number one is to be prepared to pay 3 to 4 months rent up front. The law is 3 months, 1 month commission, 1 month deposit, and 1 month rent. But sometimes they can ask for 2 months deposit. According to them, if everything works out at the end of your lease, you can get reimbursed for the deposit months that you paid for at the beginning. Number two is to conduct a legal inspection of your new apartment with what's called a huissier. A huissier is sort of like a lawyer, but much less expensive, and you should bring your own to do an inspection at your new apartment or house, and they go with you step by step to make sure everything works and to sign off on the state of the property. So if there's anything that's not working or anything that needs to be touched up, like a new paint job or lamps that need to be installed, or if there's any problems at all, it needs to be written on a piece of paper and signed by the huissier. Then the owner is more inclined to follow through with those repairs. And then also you won't be responsible for those things at the end of the lease, and you're more likely to get your deposit back. So number two, make sure you conduct a legal inspection with the huissier. Number three are your account setups. So once you sign for your apartment, sometimes you may have water, sometimes you may not. Sometimes they turn on the electricity and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they'll turn it on for you so that you have time to set up your accounts. So setting up your electricity and water accounts can take a long time. It can take weeks, sometimes months. It really depends. So your water company is called Senegal. There's only one company in all of Senegal that does your water. Your electricity is Senelec. It's also government owned. There's only one company that does your electricity setup. With your electricity, you have two options. You can have a prepaid counter that you pay for, but be careful if it runs out on a Sunday because you won't have any way to recharge it. Or you have a meter, which gives you your bill traditionally at the end of the month, or a classique. Also, your running water is not necessarily drinkable if you're not used to living in Senegal. If you just move here, you could get sick. So you have to think about your drinking water. Now, most people buy 10-liter jugs of water, whether it be Casamançaise or Kirène. There's really only 3 or 4 brands of drinking water. You can buy them at your boutique and lug them up the stairs or the elevator at your apartment or at your house. Or you can sign up for a water delivery service. So you just buy the water delivery service, you buy a stand for your water fountain, and then they come in and they bring you your recharges, the recharge of your new jugs every week. So those are the options for your drinking water. You also have to think about Wi-Fi and television on a landline, which is usually all bundled together, even if you don't need a landline phone or you don't need your television to have 100 and something channels. It usually comes all together as one package. So that's through a company called Orange or Sonatel, and so you have to set that up as well. And that can also take a long time if you don't have any contacts within the company. So in the meantime, while you're waiting for your Wi-Fi to get set up, you can also buy a portable modem. It's about $50. The price varies. Sometimes they have promotions, but you can use this and carry it around with you. You can bring your computer to somewhere else to work outside of your house, or you can keep it in your house so that you have some connection so you can work and use the internet while you're waiting for Wi-Fi to be set up. Okay, number 4 is your security upgrades. So your apartment or your house is not going to be 100% ready in terms of security. You need to have your locks changed right away. So you never know if the owner or the old renters still have a copy of their key, and that can be really dangerous. So you want to make sure your locks are brand new for only you to have the keys for. You also want to think about fire safety. So even though the building codes in Senegal require fire detectors and fire alarms, most places don't have it. Some of even the new buildings will just put a fire extinguisher in the hallway, but they don't have a fire alarm, which doesn't make much sense. Also, that being said, the fire trucks, the fire response in Senegal is not very good. It's not very modern. It takes a long time to come. So the time that they are alerted and come, it takes a long time. So you want to be alerted. You want to have an alarm in your apartment. So if it's 3 a.m. and there's a fire, you at least will wake up and be able to get you and your family out of the house. So you need to install fire alarms, gas detectors. Since you will be using cooking gas is another thing you have to set up. You have to buy tanks of gas, butane or propane gas. Those are usually sold at the boutique. So you want to buy 2 of the largest size you can for emergencies. Sometimes the boutiques are out of gas, so you want to make sure you have an extra one for emergencies. So there are 2 brands of gas in Senegal, gas tanks. The one you need to know is the one not to buy. Tuba gas. Don't buy it. They're very known for not being safe. They do not train their employees. They throw the gas into the truck. They bounce over holes and they throw them back down into the boutique, and they are often known for having leaks. So, not to scare you, but it can be very dangerous. So don't buy tuba gas. Buy the other ones. And when you go to plug in your new gas tank, don't plug it in right away. If it's hot, there's going to be pressure. It's not going to be very safe. You want to let it sit in your kitchen for about 15 to 20 minutes before hooking it up. So that's another tip for the gas. And if you have domestic workers, so let's say you have kids and you have a nanny, or you get a maid that's coming into your house every day while you're not home, or even a guard, a security gardien downstairs, you want to make sure you have cameras installed. This is just good security measure. It's good for people to know that you have cameras, that you're recording, and that you can see them at any time. It's just good to protect yourself. So think about installing cameras. Now they work with Wi-Fi, so you can log in from your phone. If you're at work, you can see the cameras from work or from wherever you are, so you can see what's going on in your house at any time. We can also add iron spikes or barbed wire or anything. If you have a villa, we can surround the house with barbed wire or iron spikes to prevent thieves from coming in. We can also install removable bars for your windows. So let's say you're going out of town for a while, you can set those up on your windows to protect your house from break-ins. Number 5, be prepared to pay for the basics. So in the US, and I think in Europe, but it depends on the country, the US I know more, when you rent a house or an apartment, you usually expect to have a fridge, a microwave, an oven, and a dishwasher as standard. Also, you tend to expect to have a washer and dryer for your clothes either on the premise or in the apartment itself. Buying a house is a little bit different, but that's what we tend to expect when we rent. So in Senegal, sometimes if you're renting a furnished apartment, you can expect some of these things, but they're not standard. So sometimes in Senegal, you will rent a place that doesn't have a fridge, doesn't have a microwave, doesn't have a dishwasher, a washing machine, or a dryer. Those are not standard. Most people are used to having people come wash their clothes by hand and dry them out in the sun. So if you're used to, doing things quickly, or you don't want to hang your laundry outside because there's a lot of dust, or you don't want someone to steal your clothes, you have to be prepared to invest in those things. So you have to buy a washer and dryer. Buying them new is better than buying them used, although you can get a good deal. Maybe there's other people moving away from Senegal, trying to sell their stuff, so you could potentially pick one up that's slightly used. But yeah, be prepared to buy a fridge, a microwave. If you're not willing to wash your dishes by hand, a dishwasher, washer and dryer for your clothes. All these things are added expenses that some people don't think about. So you have to be prepared for that. And also think about voltage, because in Senegal it's the same voltage as in France. So if you're bringing your items from the United States, the plug is not going to be the same shape and it's not going to be the same voltage. So you're going to have to, if you're bringing all of those things from the States, just be prepared that you're going to have to buy adapters and also a voltage regulator. So there are boxes that help convert the voltage so you don't burn out your items that you're bringing over. There's also the option to install a regulator in your whole apartment, in your whole house, for everything in your house. So that's another option to think about. Also, the electricity here is not very stable, so sometimes they put a lot of voltage and sometimes it can go down. So this up and down of electricity can also be very bad for your electric equipment, for your items that you purchase. So buying an apartment or a house voltage regulator is probably a good investment as well. So these are all things to think about. It's a lot to think about when you rent a house or an apartment in Senegal. But be prepared. It's my job to make sure you're prepared and you know what to expect so that there are no surprises, and then you can enjoy your time. Okay, thanks. Have a good day.